When you bundle your renters and auto insurance with Progressive, you could save money, but it doesn't cover any terrible memories living rent-free in your head.
Hey, just wanted to remind you of that time your kicker missed the extra point and lost the game. Even though he'd literally never missed an extra point, he chose this playoff game to miss. Yeah, I just noticed you hadn't thought about that in a bit. Wouldn't want you to miss, thinking about it.
Sorry, we can't save you from that memory, but we could save you money bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Renters insurance and bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
With the Kroger Plus card, it's easy to get lower than low prices, which adds up to big savings for the win. You also earn fuel points on every purchase, which means you win big at the pump. The Kroger Plus card, all you do is win. Big, big savings. Sign up now at Kroger.com and start saving. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Fuel restrictions apply.
You can save an extra $10 when you spend $40 or more on a great selection of participating items. Just look for the signs and save at Kroger.
Settling is not an option for me. Everything I desire is already mine. What if you can have it all? Because every day is for the girls.
Hello. Welcome back to another episode of For the Girls. I'm your host, Victoria Alario. And today, we are talking about dating ourselves. This is a really good one for the single girls out there. But even if you're not, even if you have a boyfriend or a husband or a girlfriend or a wife, even if you are a mother, it is still so important to have this really strong, comfortable sense of independence and self-love and comfortability in your lonesome and your alone time. So I'm going to talk about this because I asked on TikTok what you guys want to hear from me on my next episode. And somebody commented saying how it's really important for us girls to take ourselves on dates, show up to restaurants without a man and friends, and how to be comfortable in public settings. Basically on how we can date ourselves or be comfortable before we go out with anyone. I was wondering if you also do this. And the answer is yes. So you just had me go back into my Instagram archives because I remembered that I posted a photo on my story basically saying this once. So this is from December 10th, 2020, and it is a video of my salad. I was living in Miami at the time. I was out to eat for lunch, and I wrote on it saying, "Ladies, don't forget to take yourself on dates so your standards remain high. If you don't spoil yourself, you're setting the tone to allow partners not to spoil you either. When you're in a relationship with yourself first, you get to discover all the things you like and want to experience with your next partner." And honestly, looking at this salad makes me want to go back to Miami ASAP because I used to eat this salad, honestly, probably like 3 times a week. I went to this restaurant by myself multiple times a week because I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed the food. I enjoyed my time alone. I kind of just like romanticized my afternoons, taking myself out to lunch. And that's pretty much what I'm saying here. Like, you get to discover all of the things that you enjoy, the things that you like to do, the places you want to go. And then it's going to help you, know what your standards are for your partner. And I do feel like my alone time has really raised the bar for a partner because I do things for myself that I believe a partner can do for, their boyfriend or girlfriend or wife or husband, whatever, in the sense of like, if I can spoil myself, if I can take myself out to dinner, then I'm not going to be with a man who doesn't do that for me. Like, if there's no date nights, if there's no fun, if you can't bring me gifts, whether they're big or small, just knowing that it's something I would enjoy, then I probably wouldn't be happy with you because you're simply adding no value to my life. And I'm not saying that relationships are transactional, but I am saying that I'm already whole as an individual. So I'm not going to add you into my life if you are not adding any value into my life. If you are just taking time, effort, and energy away from me, and you're not able to treat me the way I can treat myself, then you are a no-go. So I've really just raised my standards in the sense of knowing that I know what makes me happy. I know what I enjoy. I know what's fun for me. I know my dislikes. I've just gotten so well acquainted and so comfortable with myself that There is simply no room for adding anyone into my life who just simply is not willing to also want to provide for me the way that I can and do provide for myself. You know, since I've been posting on TikTok, I talk a lot about my high standards and what I look for in dating. And of course, the really butthurt, very broke men respond being like, you just want men for their money and their resources. And I'm like, you don't even know how much money I make. You don't even know how independent I am. Who do you think pays my bills? Who do you think cooks and cleans for me? Like, you don't think that I take care of every single aspect of myself? I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that I paid more money in my tax returns than you made last year in your whole entire income. So it's the guys that don't understand what us women want. We have these high standards because of the fact that we have provided for ourselves, because of the fact that we spoil ourselves. We're not asking you to give us something that we cannot give to ourselves. But that whole entire mindset and energy has to come from the fact that you are comfortable in your lonesome, that you got to know yourself. You figured out what makes you happy. You take yourself on dates. You know, you have to hold yourself to high standards before you're going to hold other people to high standards. I also just believe in general that you're not going to receive the love that you're looking for if you don't find that love within yourself. You know how they always say, like, people love you the way you love yourself. How could they love you if you don't love yourself? How are you going to love them if you don't love yourself first? It's always been known and it's always been said that self-love has to come first in order for you to have happy, healthy, equal love with anybody else. And I think regardless of if you're single or married or in a relationship, whatever, you have to have this good, comfortable relationship by yourself. We have to have a sense of independence because you never know. Like, life is life and life happens and it doesn't always go as planned, and you never know what can happen in this lifetime. And the only thing that you can guarantee is your relationship with yourself. The only thing that you can guarantee is your own existence. You spend 100% of your time with yourself. Even if you're married, even if you live with your partner, you still don't spend 100% of the time with anybody other than you. Even if it's just about going to the grocery store or just going to work or just going to the bathroom. Guess who's with you when you do those things? Yourself. Every time you take a shower, every time you go to sleep, every time you make dinner, every time you're cleaning the house, every time that you're doing anything, you are by yourself. So even when you're not talking to anybody else, if you're not speaking to your partner, if you're not speaking to your kids, 100% of the time, you're always speaking to yourself. You're always in your own head. So we have to get so comfortable with our alone time. So yes, I do go out to eat alone all the time. And I don't know why we have conditioned ourselves to equating eating alone to loneliness and sadness. Like, all of us, myself included, we honestly all feel bad when we see people eating alone. Even though I know when I eat alone, I'm not sad. There's nothing about me that makes me feel bad about myself when I am eating alone. Yet when I see other people out eating alone, I always feel bad for them. And in my mind, I'm like, they must be so lonely. They must be so miserable. I wonder if they are on the verge of crying right now. And the chances are that they are not. They're just out to lunch. They're just hungry. They just want to eat. Maybe they didn't have anybody to go with. You know, they just picked themselves up and left the house and walked here. I don't know. What the heck do I know? They could potentially live across the street. But we've really conditioned ourselves to thinking that if you are not out with friends or with your boyfriend or whoever, you must be alone and lonely. And that is simply not true. To me, it's all about treating yourself the way you would want someone to treat you. So if I were to say to my partner, like, you don't take me out enough, that would be a really big problem for me, you know? But for me, obviously, most of my days I spend home cooking and things like that, but I'm not going to hold myself back when I know I want to go out to eat, right? So For me, I take myself out every time I want to go out because I'm not going to wait on somebody else to do it. So even for dinner, I just go sit at the bar and eat at the bar. And you meet people like that. You have conversations with people like that. It's just being friendly. It's just networking, whether I'm just talking to the bartender or talking to somebody who's sitting there next to me. You just got to go to the bar, look cute, and feel good about yourself, and that's it. Even if you're not looking to meet someone romantically, that confidence is just going to be dripping off of you, and people are just going to be magnetized by your confident energy. I feel like every single time that I go out, I at least have one conversation with somebody. And I might never ever in my life see that person again. But I love just being like friendly and just talking to people, even if it's just about the weather. I end up meeting a lot of people who are older and they say to me, oh, I have kids your age, my daughter's your age, you remind me of her, whatever. And it's always just cute to just like talk to somebody and just have a good moment in your day and just have a positive memory from today. Girls, it is time to feel good about your finances. Money and Mindset with Bright and Brian, a podcast from Truist, is here to help you reshape your relationship with money. Tune in every month for inspiration and practical advice to manage your money better and live with more joy and confidence. The Money and Mindset with Bright and Brian podcast is hosted by psychologist Bright Dixon and financial wellness expert Brian Ford. Together, they explore ways to develop your money know-how and improve your well-being, covering topics like, can money actually buy happiness? And how to cure money anxiety. You can listen to Money and Mindset with Bright and Brian on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, or Truist.com. Okay, girls, as you all know, I am big on building a community. And with a community like For the Girls, you are going to love this. Drizzly is the #1 app for alcohol delivery, and you can find the biggest selection of women-owned and Black-owned beer, wine, and spirits brands, and then get them delivered in under 60 minutes. And of course, this includes non-alcoholic beverages for those of you like me who prefer a mocktail. Now you can sip with purpose, find your new favorite drinks, and explore brands that are shifting an industry while supporting the diverse stories that make them great. Make your memorable moments even more meaningful by choosing brands with intention. Let's raise a glass, whether it is wine or soda, to the spirit of representation and belonging, all while discovering incredible drinks with stories worth celebrating. Just download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com to start sipping with purpose. And I feel like the more that you connect and talk to people, the more comfortable that you are in public in general. And then, when you go out on a date or you go out with your friends, you're going to bring this really friendly vibe to the table. You're going to bring this really good, energized, magnetic vibe about you to these plans, and people are going to want to have conversations with you. You're going to feel good about yourself. You're going to feel pretty, like you're going to like how you look. That's a really big thing too. When I do go out to eat, I'm not here to tell you like how to dress or what you should look like, but I do care about my appearance and how I look and just being pulled together and neat and all that kind of stuff. And I feel as though it's a more open and welcoming energy about you. Like, people are more likely to talk to you because you're just more open to being talked to, rather than like having your hood on, like wearing a sweatsuit, like, and I don't mean a cute sweatsuit, you know what I mean, like baggy sweatpants, baggy sweatshirt, just looking more like closed off. Like, I don't want to be bothered, I don't even want to be here, I'm just like stopping in real quick, that type of vibe. Like, there's just a difference between someone who goes out looking presentable and people will present them, versus someone who goes out looking like miserable and all that kind of stuff. However, if you're looking to go out and not be approached by people, which sometimes I like to go out for lunch even when I know that I have some work calls or I have some journaling I want to do, then I will make it a point to go out with my headphones in, a notebook next to me, actively being on my phone. Maybe I'll even wear a hat. Every single thing will translate into whether you want to be approached or not, whether you want to have a conversation or not. You could just tell as soon as you look at somebody if they are the type of person that is eager to start a conversation or not. So I think it's totally fine if you want to work your way up to a more confident approach. But for starters, I would definitely go out, even if you have to take a call or just have some sort of work to do. I also think allowing yourself more alone time and not speaking to anyone and not planning on meeting anyone and just going out by yourself, or even if you're just home and you're just designating time for yourself to really appreciate yourself and just appreciate the moment, allows you to feel more. And what I mean when I say feel more is that I think that we are in go mode and robot mode a lot because most of us have some sort of routine, whether that is your job, your business, your kids, your hobby, whatever it is. Most of us have a routine that we follow on a daily basis. So every single day might consist of distractions from your feelings. And I feel as though the more time that we spend alone, just kind of in silence and just kind of reflecting and absorbing the energy in the air and everything in that moment, you almost just get to feel your feelings more clearly. You get to identify your feelings more clearly. I feel as though it took some time for me to come to terms with certain things because I'm so busy throughout my days. I put a lot of things on the back burner. And then it might end up just like hitting you all at once, You might have completely, totally forgotten about something because you're always on the go, you're always with people, you're always distracted. And then it takes that 30 minutes of meditation time or journaling time or just any ounce of alone time for you to identify like, oh my God, it just hit me that I didn't really end on good terms with this person. And I'm kind of upset about it. It just hit me that I haven't heard from this person. It just hit me that I feel sad about this. Or it just hit me how grateful I am for this moment. You might just have a moment of gratitude by spending some time alone. And it might really just come to you because you took some time to feel with no distractions around you. And as human beings, we need to feel the feelings. We need to process our emotions. We need to take time to heal. We need to take time for gratitude. We need to take time to really understand and cherish the present. Because I do notice that when we are on that go mode and when we're always distracted and when we're always around groups of people, we are always looking toward the future or maybe even thinking about the past, rather than just sitting in the present and stopping for a moment and appreciating where we are at. And I think that allows us to not only fall in love with the present, but it allows us to fall in love with our whole process, our whole transformation, which ultimately allows us to fall more in love with ourselves. And I think that's the main goal here. Knowing who we are, appreciating who we are, loving who we are, being grateful for who we are. And what I could promise you is that you're not going to discover those things through anyone else. You're only going to discover those things through the time that you spend dating yourself. Imagine what it's like dating someone else. You spend your time getting to know them, asking them questions, studying their behaviors, paying attention to their likes and dislikes, paying attention to their energy, paying attention to what makes their eyes light up, getting to know where they're from and why certain things feel certain ways for them, what's caused trauma in their life, what was their past like, what are the healthy behaviors and tendencies that they have, how do they treat you, how do they speak to you, how do they speak about others, are they happy? Like, you get to just know and understand people and study people so closely when you start dating them. And I believe that we need to study ourselves and pay attention to ourselves more. I have an episode revolved around trauma from a couple weeks ago where I interviewed Janet Namaste, and so many people, myself included, were so touched by that interview that it changed a lot. It changed a lot of things for us. For me, I mean, I was sobbing, crying during the interview. For other people, they said it brought them to tears. Why? Because we don't take the time to identify what our trauma is and why it has made us who we are. We don't necessarily spend our time digging into our past and realizing this action that I take is because when I was a kid, this happened to me. I feel this way because a couple years ago, someone made me feel X, Y, and Z. So I just really think that we have to spend more time alone and identifying who we truly are, because we are just going to appreciate ourselves so much more and respect ourselves so much more. Everyone needs to have a level of self-appreciation and self-respect, because if you don't respect yourself, people are not going to respect you. Boundaries are so important. And I make it so known that I have certain boundaries. And I believe that I'm someone who doesn't really have drama in my life. And I don't really have many people doing me wrong and screwing me over, because I think I just make my boundaries so clear to people that they almost just kind of know they can't come to me at all if they're going to come to me with bullshit. You know what I mean? I just feel as though I give off an energy and a vibe that's like, you're going to come correct, you're going to come with respect, or you're not going to come at all. Like, do not approach me if this is going to make me lose 2 brain cells, honestly. I feel like a lot of people are always questioning why they're dealing with this. Why does this happen to me? And it's like, well, because you keep reading the same story and expecting a different response. You know, I close the book. As soon as I know that this is not the level of respect that I desire, I close the book. But that comes from the fact that I have a lot of respect for myself, and I really respect my boundaries. And I really am just so confident in my lonesome that I know I don't need anyone else's attention. I don't need anyone else's validation, because what's the worst thing that can happen? They are going to choose not to be with me or not to date me. Well, I don't care, because I choose myself. And I choose myself confidently, because at this point in my life, there is no one who has ever known me the way I know myself. There is no one who's ever spoiled me the way that I spoil myself. I am the one who gets myself flowers. You know, if I want to have flowers, I'm not going to sit around upset waiting for someone else to get them for me. I'm going to get myself flowers. So it comes down to even the little details like that. It just truly comes down to romanticizing your own life, no matter what it looks like, no matter how many people are in your life or how many people are not. So get yourself the flowers, take yourself to dinner or lunch, cook yourself the meals that you really want to eat, watch the shows that you really want to watch. Spend your alone time journaling and meditating, especially if you live with someone or kids. Meditation, it has to get done. You are just going to have such a sense of zen and just good feelings and good vibes. I mean, shit. Like I said, I live alone. I'm alone most of the time, yet I'm still stressed out by other people half the time when I'm working. So I can imagine if you're working and having to take care of a husband and kids and a family and all that kind of stuff, then you have levels of stress that you need to decompress. So do your meditations, do your journaling, and just let yourself feel the feelings and appreciate your time alone. So that is all I have for today. Thank you, girls, so much for listening. And until next time, girls.
Grand Canyon University, a Christian university, is one of the largest and fastest growing universities in the country, offering over 250 engaging programs online. GCU integrates the free market system and its welcoming Christian worldview perspective into its academic programs and throughout its online campus. GCU's online students received over $144 million in scholarships in 2021. Visit gcu.edu/myoffer to see the scholarships you qualify for. Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University.
When you bundle your renters and auto insurance with Progressive, you could save money, but it doesn't cover any terrible memories living rent-free in your head.
Hey, just wanted to remind you of that time your kicker missed the extra point and lost the game, even though he'd literally never missed an extra point. He chose this playoff game to miss. Yeah, I just noticed you hadn't thought about that in a bit. Wouldn't want you to miss, thinking about it.
Sorry, we can't save you from that memory, but we could save you money bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Renters insurance and bundle discount not available in all states or situations.